Okay, so Steph, can you do me a favor and can you unmute yourself and let me know if you can see
Yes, we can
my
see your
screen?
screen.
Whoops.
Yes.
Can you guys see my screen? Can someone unmute themselves
Yes.
for me?
Yeah. We can see it, Jessica.
Yes.
Anybody unmute?
Oh.
We can hear it. We can see it. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can't see you, Steph, so that did not help at all. You guys have to unmute and tell me if you can see it. So I'm going to go back in. We're going to try it again.
I can see it just fine. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Hold on. Uh-oh. Now I can't get back into it. Uh-oh. There we go. So Steph or Danny, if you can unmute yourself and tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, I'm just going to assume you can because I can't hear you. I don't know why.
Yes, we can.
So welcome everybody and thank you for joining. Today we're going to talk about scholarships and how to find scholarships that are right for you. And it's really important for me to not just share every single scholarship out there, but really I want to focus on the ones that I know that our students are going to have success with. So the scholarships that I provide to you in my weekly emails that I share when we meet one-on-one are ones that maybe aren't national, where you're competing with students from Pennsylvania and Texas and who knows where. But they're more ones that I know that we've had success with, or you personally have a really good shot at. Really trying to narrow it down to giving you guys the best opportunities. I don't want you to just apply for scholarships to apply for them, but apply for one and be really smart about it. So we're gonna move on in. So let's start talking about, first is FAFSA and the Oregon Promise. So when we are talking about FAFSA, we're not just talking about loans. And I think that's what people get really hung up on. FAFSA is used and required by a lot of schools for scholarships. So whether you're planning to take a loan or not, you are going to have to complete your FAFSA if you're considering applying for any type of scholarships. That includes the ones that are automatic from the universities, okay? FAFSA also determines grants. So there's Pell grants, there's grants like the Oregon Promise and things like that. So you are required to do FAFSA if you're planning on doing Oregon Promise. It's joint. There may be free money out there for you that you won't get if you don't do your FAFSA. There's also something called Work Study. Work Study is something that they offer through the FAFSA. It's basically where they give you a job, and the money that you earn from that job is goes towards your books, fees, your tuition, housing, any of that. And typically those are campus jobs. You might be working in the library or something like that. Again, I just want to reiterate that FAFSA is required for most scholarships through a college or university. It is required for Oregon Promise, and many of the private scholarships require it as well. All right, so when we talk about scholarships, the first place that we want to look is at your specific university or colleges. Most schools are going to offer a variety of scholarships. Some of them are automatic with admission, and other ones you'll have to apply for. There's scholarships based on the major, there's scholarships based on your grades, there's scholarships based on diversity, there's scholarships based on needs, there's so many different scholarships. But really a great starting place is seeing what the school of your choice has to offer, okay? So then we kind of step back from the college and now we're looking deeper into how are we gonna pay for college? And another really good resource that we have here in Oregon is OSAC. OSAC has over 600 different scholarships in them that you can apply with one application. But what I will say about OSAC is that you have to really put the time and effort into this application. It's not just click a few buttons, write, a couple sentences and submit it. If you really are serious about getting scholarships, you have to put the time and energy into these, okay? So my recommendation for OSAC is to start early. And the reason for that is there are 4 essay questions, personal statement essays that you have to write. These will be ones that you are going to have to review and edit and review and edit and review and edit over, a couple months to get it right. These 4 essay questions, you have 1,000 characters, which means everything in your story has to be within that limit. Commas, periods, spaces, all of that count. And there's a few other pieces to that. You also want to go through the catalog and pick out which specific applications you want to attach, which specific scholarships you want to attach your application to. So this is a process. It takes time and commitment. And the people that put that in, they're going to have a higher likelihood of getting a scholarship from OSAC. Now, the really cool thing about OSAC is that once you've done your OSAC, if you're going to LCC, everything that you've done in OSAC can be transferred over to LCC. Their application is exactly the same to the essay questions and all. And so it really does make sense if you're a student that's going to LCC that you put that time and effort into OSAC, because then you can take it when you're done and do the same thing for LCC. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to another community college what that looks like, but it's probably very similar. Okay, so what is a scholarship? And I know some of you are probably like, well, I know what a scholarship is, right? But I want to break it down and talk to you about a specific scholarship right now, and that's the Ford Scholarship. And this is a really big one that many of you probably have heard of because it's very popular. It's very hard to earn this scholarship. So what this scholarship in particular is one that supports students that have significant financial barriers to go to college, okay? So these are those students that really have had some major struggles and are in need of financial assistance. The award is calculated based off the cost of how much it costs to go to the institution that you've decided, and what the tuition is, the fees, the room and board, and all of that. And then what they do is they take out any grants or other scholarships that you've already received. And this is renewable up to 4 years. This is an amazing scholarship. It pays about 90%. And so definitely, if you feel like you meet these qualifications, which I'm about to go through, you definitely should be applying. So the qualifications are very simple. It's for residents of Oregon graduating high school, which all of you are, who are planning to enroll full-time in a 2 or 4 year college and seeking a bachelor degree. So what that means is if you're starting at a 2-year school or you're doing a dual enrollment, and then you're planning on finishing at a 4-year school and getting your bachelor's degree, then that's one of those requirements that you just have met, okay? So you can start at LCC, transfer to U of O or OSU, and you would qualify under that piece. Students who plan to enroll full-time in the fall in their state of residence. So this only works for students that are going to school in Oregon and California. Again, this is a huge scholarship. It's one that you're going to have to spend a lot of time in, but it's one of the most popular ones. And we see in our community several students that have received this through the years. Okay, so other places to consider scholarships are your banks, credit unions. There are lots of different credit unions and banks that offer scholarships. Some are for members only, and others or excuse me, yeah, some are for members only, but others don't require you to be a member. Okay, so look into those. These are all going to be on Naviance. They're going to be in my Friday emails, but you can do some research on your own for your bank and other banks and see if there's scholarships attached to them. There's also community sponsored ones. So things like Elks, Rotary, Lions Club, those are all going to come through our school. However, what I will say is if you have a family member that is in Elks, that is in Rotaries, that is part of the Lions Club, you should definitely reach out to them, okay? And on some cases, we do see where parents work for a company and they offer scholarships for the employees' children or dependent. So you definitely want to talk to your parents and see if that's the case for their employer. All right, school-specific scholarships. So these are scholarships that are basically dedicated to your school. And for our students, we have several that you guys will start see popping up. Most of them will happen probably after winter break. There's a lot of scholarships that are already available, obviously, that you can be applying for now, but the ones that are specifically for our students will be coming up. And those obviously, what happens with, you have the national, the pool is huge. Everybody's applying for that. Then you have OSAC and it's just Oregon ones. Then you have the school-based ones and it's just the ones for the people, the students that go to your school. So what we've done is we've taken this big pool, we've made it smaller, and now it's just really small. And I will say that after last year's experience, there is a very small handful of students that are applying for scholarships, okay? And so your likelihood of receiving it is higher, especially now with everything that we're going through. The students that I am seeing are the same students over and over. So your pool is very small, and I would really recommend applying to as many scholarships as you can. So where can you find them? That's the big question. So every week I send out an email with a list of scholarships with links and deadlines and things like that. But they're also even more on Naviance. So in my email are very specific ones. Naviance has even more. So it's really available to you at your fingertips. You can also start working with your college and career advisor. Hey, that's me if you go to Thurston. And I will help connect you. I will work with you and figure out which scholarships are best for you and literally hand pick them for you. I was just actually talking to someone yesterday, not in the school, but saying how the more students work with me, the better I can, one, help, guide them, but also when the scholarship committees come to talk to me about students, I can, speak on your behalf and recommend you. So, definitely you want to connect and build that relationship, because that is only going to help you down the road. Okay, I ran through that really fast for two reasons. One, because I know you guys have a long weekend, and two, because it's just that simple. I mean, that is everything. So I'm gonna go back into the meeting now and open it up for questions from all of you. And I know that Steph and Danny will be happy to ask questions on your behalf, but you guys are welcome to unmute yourself at this point and ask questions if you have them. No questions? I didn't do that good of a job, guys. Come on. Has everybody completed their FAFSA? Everybody on this call? No. Okay. Do you need help with that? Anybody starting to apply for scholarships? No. Okay. Danny and Steph, do you guys have any questions?
Can you hear me? Jessica, can you hear me? No.
I can't hear you, Danny.
I know you can't. Can everybody else hear me? Yes, they can. Everybody else can hear me. So,
Can you hear me?
I can't hear any questions. So I'm going to refresh and see if I can. It might close you guys all out, probably not, but I'll come right back.
how's everybody doing today? Good?
Yep. Very good.
That's good. For the people that, oh, Jessica, can you hear us now? Well, why don't you look in the chat?
I don't know why I can't hear you guys. I'm so sorry. Yep, I can answer questions in the chat if you put them in there. And then Steph, I know you are gathering names for the drawing. Okay. When is OSAC? Oh, when is OSAC needed to be submitted by? So the deadline isn't till March. So you have until March 2nd, and there's an early bird deadline, which happens until February, or which happens in February. So, okay, I'm going to open up the chat because Danny's like throwing them at me. Can I schedule a meeting with you to get help with my FAFSA? Yes, absolutely. You can schedule a meeting for your FAFSA, but we actually already have scheduled on Monday at 10:30 a FAFSA session. So if you need help with your FAFSA, Danny, Steph, and I will be available Monday at 10:30. Hey, if that doesn't work with you, just email me and we'll find another time that works for you, or we can set something up one-on-one. All the local scholarships will be available in Naviance. Yes, so all of the local scholarships typically would be in the College and Career Center, but they're also going to be in Naviance. And they'll also be in my weekly email that I send out, which I'm sure all of you guys are reading, with the links as well as information about the deadline, amounts, things like that, requirements, anything that I know. And if you don't have access, like if you need to print something, you don't have access to a printer, let us know and we'll help you get that printed. Oh, what's the username and password for Naviance? I'm hoping that everybody knows that. One, because I don't know how to explain it off the top of my head. But two, I'm hoping that you're already going in there. There is directions on how to get into Naviance with that information on the College and Career Center Google Classroom. How long will it take me to fill out my FAFSA and OSAC? You know, your FAFSA could take about 30 minutes, maybe 45 if you have all your information. OSAC is definitely going to take a little bit longer. I'm not sure if you were referring to Oregon Promise. Oregon Promise will take about 15 minutes. OSAC, I would give yourself a couple months. And that's because of those essay questions that I talked about earlier. We need to revise. You don't get the weekly email? Okay, well, check with maybe your parents or guardians. They should be getting it as well. It goes out to all seniors. It could be getting lost in your emails. I know you guys are getting a lot of emails from teachers. Probably every single time we do anything in the classroom, you get a notification. So maybe search under Auxure and see if it comes up. If it doesn't come up, email me and let me know and I will send that to you. Is it important to apply to specific scholarships for the university that I'm planning to attend? So some universities will have automatic scholarships, so academic, things like that. Those ones you don't have to apply for at all. There are other scholarships that you do need to apply through the university for, and there are deadlines, so you'll want to pay attention to that. And absolutely, you should be applying for those. I always like to tell the story about my one son that applied for almost every single scholarship that he could find. And he didn't get almost every single scholarship that he could find. But what he did get was 2 major ones that were renewable up to 4 years and essentially paid for his whole 4 years of college. He may not have gotten those had he not applied for all those different scholarships. And yes, it's hard and it's a lot of work. And I get that you guys have lots of things going on. But the more effort and time you put into it, the higher likelihood you will to receive those scholarships. If you don't apply, you absolutely are not going to get that scholarship. So apply. Who is a good person to help revise the OSAC personal statements? Oh, that is such a good question. So we obviously have great teachers at school that can help. Coopford, who teaches Writing 121, is always a great resource and always willing to help. But we also have access to professors at the U of O that are willing to review your personal statement questions as well. Or if you know somebody who's just an amazing writer, then you're welcome, obviously, to use them. What we want to do with OSAC is try to tell your story in a short, condensed statement of 1,000 characters. And so the hard part of that is something that is impactful. So when we talk, we'll have actually a presentation in a few weeks about OSAC and about the application, about the statements and things like that. So I encourage you to come to that. But that definitely want to have somebody look at it. Definitely have someone offer opinions, suggestions, edits, and things like that. Okay, so any other questions? Oh, yes. And Miss Danny says to make sure to follow us on Instagram. It's THS_College Career Center. And Danny and Steph have taken over that page. And so they're doing some fun things over there. And I guess I'll also say, if you haven't done your FAFSA, then you're missing out on the opportunity to be entered into our weekly drawing that we do every week. Anybody that's completed their FAFSA between October 1 and March 1st are entered in for a drawing for $10 gift card, not $10, sorry, $10 gift card. And Danny's telling me that I need to tell you that you will get updates on workshops, deadlines, helpful tips, and scholarships. Go Colts. This is how Danny says it. Go Colts. She does that, yes. So I think that's all that I have. Sorry I can't hear any of you, but I'm going to turn it over to Steph. She is going to do our drawing.
Yes, my favorite part of the workshops. Well, thank you all for coming. I have all of your names entered into this little wheel. I'm just going to spin it, and then we'll see who wins. Woo! Isaac is our winner today.
Oh,
Isaac,
job.
are you still here?
Isaac. So
Oh, yes,
Isaac,
you're still here.
You won a $10 gift card, and you can email me. Actually, let's see what we have. They're in this little bag here. You have your choice of Menchie's or crumble cookie. So Isaac, you can email me how I can get this to you, and if it's easiest to mail it to you, then we will mail it to you. And congratulations. Everybody else, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you have a wonderful long weekend, very well deserved. And second quarter starts next week, so that's really exciting. We will not have a workshop next week because of the Thanksgiving holiday, but on December 2nd, we will come back and it'll be all about volunteering and community service. So hopefully we'll see you guys then. And thanks for joining. Have a great week. Isabella, did you have a question? Or not? And I'm gonna stop recording.